Do you know how many times the average person is lied to in a single day? Studies suggest it's somewhere between 10 and 200 times. Most are small, harmless things. That new haircut looks great. Sorry, I missed your call. But some are not. Your friend, your partner, your colleague just lied directly to your face. And the unsettling part is, you missed it completely. You felt a flicker of doubt, a gut feeling that something was off, but you dismissed it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what you missed. We're going to pull back the curtain on the first, most crucial technique used by FBI interrogators. And by the end of this, you'll never see a conversation the same way again. Most people think lie detection is about spotting a nervous twitch or a failure to make eye contact. That's amateur hour. That's television nonsense. The professionals, the people whose careers depend on separating fact from fiction, know that the truth is far more nuanced. Before you can ever hope to spot a lie, you must first understand what that person's truth looks like. This is called establishing a baseline, and it is the bedrock of everything. A baseline is a person's normal, relaxed, honest pattern of behavior. It's how they act when they aren't under pressure, when they aren't hiding anything, when the mental effort of deception isn't churning in their mind. Think of it this way: lying is hard work for the brain. It has to invent a false narrative, suppress the real one, manage its own story for consistency, and constantly monitor your reaction to see if you're buying it. All that cognitive load creates stress, and that stress causes subtle deviations from their normal behavior. Your job is to spot the deviation, but you can't spot a deviation if you don't know what you're deviating from. Let me tell you about a case I consulted on, a corporate embezzlement situation. The primary suspect was a senior accountant we'll call Frank. Frank was a rock. During the initial interviews, he was calm, collected, answered every question with a steady voice and a polite smile. The younger investigators were getting nowhere. They saw a man who looked innocent, but they made a critical mistake. They started with the hard questions. I asked them to leave me with him. I spent the next 20 minutes talking to Frank about his prized vintage Mustang. I asked him about the restoration, the engine, where he got the parts. And I watched. I saw how his eyes lit up, how his hands started moving to describe the curve of a fender, the rhythm of his speech quickening with genuine passion. That was Frank's baseline. Then I gently pivoted. Frank, tell me about the quarterly expense reports. The polite smile stayed cemented on his face, but his hands, which had been so expressive, went dead still on the table. He was pinning them down. The light in his eyes, the energy he had when talking about his car, gone. That was the shift. Not a twitch, not a bead of sweat. Just a change from his established normal. That was the thread we pulled, and the whole story unraveled from there. This isn't just for interrogation rooms. This is for your life. On a first date, don't start with probing questions. Ask them about their favorite childhood memory or the best concert they ever went to. Watch their posture, their gestures, their eye contact when they're happily lost in a memory. That's their baseline. At a job interview, before you ask about their weaknesses, ask them to describe their commute that morning. It's a simple, factual question that requires no invention. See how they behave when the stakes are zero. With your teenager, before you ask, did you really finish all your homework? Ask them, tell me about that new level you beat in your video game. Let them get animated. Let them relax into their normal state. Then ask the tough question. And watch. Just watch for the change. A shift from baseline isn't a flashing neon sign that says LIAR. It's a yellow light. It means proceed with caution. It signals that something has changed internally: stress, discomfort, fear, or yes, maybe deception. Have you ever had a gut feeling that a friend was upset, even when they said, "I'm fine"? You were likely subconsciously noticing a break from their baseline. Their tone was a little flatter. Their smile didn't quite reach their eyes. Think about the last deep conversation you had. Can you picture that person's normal state right now? If not, you're flying blind. Start observing. That's your first mission. So, you've established a baseline. You've noticed a shift, a flicker of something that doesn't quite add up. The amateur's move is to jump on it, to confront, to accuse. Aha! Your hands stopped moving, you're lying. That's how you get someone to shut down and lawyer up. The professional understands that a baseline shift is an invitation. It's a sign that pressure is building under the surface. Your job now is not to add more pressure, but to let the person's own internal pressure do the work for you. And the most powerful tool for this is one that most people are terrified to use: silence. Strategic silence is a psychological pressure cooker. Our brains are hardwired to abhor a vacuum, both in nature and in conversation. A sudden, extended pause in a dialogue creates a powerful sense of social discomfort and cognitive dissonance. We feel an overwhelming urge to fill that void, to resolve the tension. When you ask a tough question and the other person gives you a clipped, practiced answer, their brain is already working overtime to maintain that lie. When you respond with nothing but calm, expectant silence, you deny their brain the feedback it craves. You give them no cues. You don't nod, you don't challenge, you don't speak. You simply wait. Their mind starts racing. Do they know? Did I not sound convincing? Should I add more detail to sell it? The pressure to fill that awkward, gaping silence becomes immense, and to do so, they start talking. And when people talk off script under pressure, the truth, or at least pieces of it, often tumbles out. I remember a young car thief, maybe 19 years old. He was cocky, had a story for everything. He said he just borrowed the car from a party to get home, and was going to bring it right back the next day. He delivered the lines like he'd practiced them in the mirror. I let him finish, and then I asked a simple, logistical question. So where were you planning on getting gas for the trip back? And then I shut up. I leaned back in my chair, held his gaze not aggressively, just with quiet curiosity, and I waited. The first 5 seconds, he held my stare. At 10 seconds, his smug confidence started to flicker, and he shifted in his seat. By the 15-second mark, he broke. Words just poured out of him. Well, I wasn't sure. I was gonna call my buddy, see if he had some cash. Or maybe I would have just, seen how far it would go. He talked himself right into a corner, revealing he had no plan, no intention of returning the car. The silence forced his flimsy story to collapse under its own weight. I didn't have to raise my voice once. This is a scalpel, not a sledgehammer, and you can use it everywhere. Let's talk about negotiating a price for a car. You make your offer, the salesperson counters. You look at the paper, look back at them, and say, "Is that absolutely the best you can offer?" Then go silent. Count to 5, or even 10, in your head. Maintain relaxed eye contact. Don't be the first to speak. The pressure on them to fill that gap is enormous. They will feel compelled to say something to break the tension. And that something is often a better offer, a concession. A free set of floor mats, anything to make the discomfort stop. In a relationship, you might ask, "You seemed to get home late last night." They give a quick answer, "Yeah, traffic was bad." Instead of interrogating them, you just nod slowly and stay silent. Let the space hang in the air. If they're hiding something, they will rush to over-explain. "It was just insane, bumper to bumper by the overpass, and then this truck cut me off." The unnecessary details are a hallmark of a fabricated story. A truthful person is comfortable with the facts and doesn't feel the need to embellish. When was the last time you felt truly uncomfortable in a silent moment? What did you feel compelled to do or say to break that tension? Now, imagine flipping that script and being the one in control of the silence. Be warned, however, this isn't about an aggressive, intimidating stare-down. That will just make the other person defensive. The key is a neutral, expectant silence. You are simply giving them the space and the opportunity to give you more information. You are showing them that you are patient and you are willing to wait for the whole story. Try it once this week. Ask a question, and when you get the answer, just wait 5 extra seconds before you respond. See what happens. The results will surprise you. We've covered the foundation, establishing a baseline. We've covered the tool for applying pressure, strategic silence. Now we move to the advanced level. This is about spotting the truth when it leaks out in spite of every effort to contain it. I'm talking about micro-expressions. A micro-expression is an involuntary, lightning-fast flash of a person's true emotion. It lasts less than half a second, sometimes as quick as 1/25 of a second, before their conscious brain can suppress it and mask it with a more socially acceptable expression. They are nearly impossible to fake and even harder to stop. They come directly from the limbic system, the primal, emotional core of our brain, and they are a direct window into a person's real feelings. Learning to spot them is like having a real-time lie detector. The pioneer in this field, Dr. Paul Ekman, identified 7 universal micro-expressions: anger, fear, disgust, contempt, sadness, surprise, and happiness. While a full training is intense, you can start by looking for the big 3 tells that expose a lie. First is asymmetry. Genuine, felt emotions engage the facial muscles symmetrically. A real smile, a true look of surprise, both sides of the face work in harmony. But a forced or faked emotion is often lopsided. A smirk that's higher on one side. A half-hearted smile. These are signs that the logical brain is trying to construct an emotion, rather than genuinely feeling it. The second is the eye muscle disconnect. A genuine smile, what psychologists call a Duchenne smile, is not just about the mouth. It critically involves the muscles around the eyes, the orbicularis oculi, creating what we call crow's feet. A fake, social smile only uses the mouth. The eyes are dead. Someone says they're happy to see you, but their eyes aren't smiling. Your brain registers that mismatch, even if you don't know why. The third, and most potent, is emotional leakage. This is when an expression flashes across someone's face that is in direct opposition to the words they are saying. I was once working on a complex fraud case, and the wife of the main suspect, let's call her Margaret, was on the stand. She played the part of the devoted, heartbroken spouse perfectly. She spoke softly about her husband, her trust in him, and her shock at the accusations. But as she said the words, "I always trusted him completely," I saw it. For a fraction of a second, no longer than a camera flash, the corner of her lip pulled up and out on one side in a unilateral sneer. It was a textbook micro-expression of pure contempt. It was gone almost before it registered, replaced instantly by her mask of sadness. But it was there. That single, involuntary flash told me more than an hour of testimony. It told me her entire performance was a lie. We changed our entire line of questioning based on that 1/5 of a second. You see this in daily life constantly, once you know what to look for. Your boss asks if you can handle a new project, and you say, "Of course, no problem," while a micro-expression of fear-widened eyes, raised eyebrows flashes across your face. A friend talks about their recent promotion, as you say, "I'm so happy for you." A flicker of anger or disgust tightens your lips. Your child claims to love the healthy dinner you made, but you spot a quick wrinkle of the nose in disgust before they force a smile. Have you ever tried to hide your disappointment or anger about something? Do you think you were completely successful, or might there have been a leak that gave you away? Paying attention to these flashes isn't about calling people out. It's about gathering information. It's about understanding the difference between what someone is projecting and what they are actually feeling. So, here is your mission. This week, become an observer of the human condition. First, establish a baseline with someone you see every day. Just watch and learn their normal. Second, find one low-stakes opportunity to use strategic silence. Ask a question and let the silence hang for 5 full seconds. Third, start watching faces during conversations on the news, in meetings, across the dinner table. Look for the asymmetry, the dead eyes on a fake smile, the flash of an emotion that doesn't match the words. Don't accuse, don't confront. Just watch, listen, and learn. You will be astonished at the hidden world of communication that opens up to you. Come back here and comment below. Tell me what you discovered. Did you spot a lie? Did you gain a new insight? What surprised you the most? If you're ready to stop guessing and start knowing, hit that subscribe button. These are the tools the professionals use, and I'm here to give them to you. And you won't want to miss next week's video, where we'll dissect the body language mistakes that make people instantly decide they can't trust you.